This is an Off the Tongue podcast.
Hey everybody, Doug.
Greg.
And this is Mike.
And we are the It's Funny That Makes It Okay podcast, part of the Off the Tongue podcast network. And who else might be on the Off the Tongue podcast network, you might ask? Well, you got the Greener Grass podcast. We got Teach a Dummy, Skate Ohio, the original Copycats, and Pint Pals podcast. So make sure to check all them out and give us a listen as well. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in and welcome to the show.
Welcome back again.
Welcome
How was your vacation?
I don't want to spoil anything yet.
Yeah,
It was a lot of
Maybe
fun.
you give us some more detail.
Yeah,
later.
well, I got an all-over
Like
tan, which
next
is
week.
really nice.
Yeah, good.
Boy, it seemed to fly by, didn't it?
It did fly by.
Did
And
you wear
that's-
your thong for the week that we talked about last time?
I went commando.
Commando. Commando on the beach.
Commando on the beach. Well, tonight we have we're going to talk about tech, and in this podcast, for those of you who are not aware, there's the three of us here. Mike's the millennial, I'm the Gen Xer, and Greg's the boomer.
That's right.
And to be fair, a lot of times the boomer and the Gen Xer kind of gripe about tech and changes and how things aren't like they were in the old days. But tonight we're going to talk about some things that are actually better now than they were the way we used to have to do them.
Yep.
So we're gonna try to not do a mea culpa, but at least give some love back to the millennials and the tech generation.
Yeah.
And then I've got some crazy laws, so we'll do a segment of that as well. Real quick up front, it's getting beautiful weather, keeping the windows open, which is
Loving it.
good.
Loving it.
Except we have we have such bad pollen,
Allergens in the air.
allergens.
Yeah.
It's killing me. My throat, my nose. I've drainage constantly. I think Mike said he did too. So we keep the windows open because I love it. You turn the air off, keep those windows open, keep the house air out. Now, Greg, this won't affect you, but Mike, I'd be interested to hear if you had this issue or thought, because we have the windows open, and when you have the windows open, and you have a dog or more than one dog, especially two dogs, we were making some comments and saying some things, and my wife says, I hope nobody's walking by the house, because if you have no context that there are two dogs in this house, there are some things said that people are not they are going to wonder what is going on. You'll see things like,
Hey,
get your nose out of her
may be
butt.
saying things.
They're like, quit humping her. You'll do all this stuff, hollering and get off of her. Things like this. It's like people have no context that I have two dogs, because I hollered something that was similar to that. I don't remember exactly what it was. And my wife's like, I hope nobody's walking by right now. I'm like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I can see where
I
that
guess
would
it
be
does.
bad.
Out of context, that does not sound good. It does not sound good. So,
Yeah.
you know, or stop licking yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you've ran into that at all, Mike, you've got a couple dogs as well.
Probably all of those statements apply. Just as equally to us.
Yes. And they're just constantly doing stuff like that. We're like, will you just stop?
So it would be weird if we were yelling that.
Well, if you don't have a dog, if you don't have a couple dogs,
We have no dogs.
then I probably, that would be a little odd, I would think. But maybe not. Maybe not. You don't have any dogs, right?
No, we have
Greg
no
hates
dog.
dogs.
We
For
have
those that don't know, he hates dogs for whatever reason. I don't know what happened to him, but he just does not like dogs.
We've discussed this before.
Okay, so over the years that we've been doing this, Greg and I, the Gen Xer, the boomer, have given a lot of crap to a lot of technology, saying how crappy it is. It makes life worse overall. And I know Mike's our millennial, and so he kind of agrees with on some things. I think we get pushed back, and we should. But Greg has been doing some traveling. I'm going to be doing some traveling, and some of the things I thought, it is so much easier now with technology. So I thought we need to give a little bit of love to technology and the way things are now, and kind of contrast it to how it used to be when we would go do something. So I don't know if you have any. I'll start off if you want. So
start.
just with the traveling aspect and with technology, you got Google Maps, you got the Apple Map app. It is so much easier than getting the Rand McNally
The
Atlas,
Atlas.
laying it
Yeah.
out, highlighting my trip through what route I'm going to take, what interstates, where I'm going to get off at.
Exits.
And then heaven help you if there's all of a sudden, oh, this road's
Detours.
closed. Like, I don't have that mapped out. Where you got the Google map and it will just detour you off.
Yeah.
And it
I mean, I
also-
think with any of these that we're going to talk about, there are caveats to them because I enjoyed doing the maps when I was younger.
I'll introduce a caveat here too with the Google Maps. This always makes me laugh. If you're on a road trip, like we took a 25-hour drive out to Montana a few years ago.
Yep.
And Google along the way will try to suggest you different routes. And I still to this day laugh at the fact it was trying to reroute me like a 4-hour detour. It's like, yes, I want to tack an extra 4 hours onto my 25-hour
You're already
drive.
exhausted.
Thank
It's
you,
like,
Google.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that. But yes, I want to take the 4 hours now.
Now I have used Waze as well, off and on.
I have not used
I've
Waze.
used it.
I haven't.
It's okay. I still think I like Google Maps better. But the one thing with Waze that I was putting in there, I was driving along and it was like I was driving through a town and it had an intersection and it showed a gas station, but it just had the name of the gas station. And then there was a Reese's symbol. I'm like, what are you doing? They're killing me. It's like,
I remember that.
yeah, I was like, all right. Thank you, Waze. I do want to stop and get a Reese's, but I don't need an app showing me where the Reese's are for sale.
But thank you for reminding me.
But yes, now I want a Reese's.
Mine's just full of Polar Pops along the path.
It's routing me along the best route for Reese's. Why did it take you 23 hours to get down to the Gulf? Well, I went on the Reese's trip,
It's
the Reese's tour.
It's the modern Oregon Trail. The Reese's Trail.
Yes, it is. It's wonderful.
So the caveat I was going to mention is for some reason about, I don't know, 3-4 hours into the trip, our infotainment system in the vehicle was acting kind of flaky and I was having trouble getting the maps to work. And so when you get glitches in things, then it's frustrating because now I don't have paper maps to rely on. I just have to try to either it's like, Lori, get your phone out, get it dialed in. It was a glitch. I don't know if it was super hot that day. I don't know if the dash got hot and it caused the infotainment system to act up. I'm not sure what caused it. If it was a lapse in cell signal that caused it to behave erratically, but it was just being weird. So in that case, it's frustrating. I love the tech. I love the ability to be able to put in maps and do all that. So overall, yes, it is much better.
The biggest upside for me is, I think what Mike had already said, if you come up to a detour rerouting or coming up saying, hey, there's an accident ahead with a 45-minute delay. Do you want to reroute? And I'm like, yes, I do. You don't even have to ask me. Reroute me out of this. I don't ever want to sit in traffic.
So that delays 45 minutes. The reroute's going to take you 2 hours.
You know what? I'm moving though. There's something about just keep moving. I'm moving.
Yeah.
When
I
I
like that.
found that a lot of the detours, it actually underestimates the traffic, the backups.
Yeah.
I found that it underestimates those severely.
30 minutes and then an hour and 10 minutes later, you're still like, oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or as you're sitting there, I've seen it where it keeps updating and the time keeps going up. It's like, crap.
Yeah.
When
we
I didn't
actually
take
had
the
that
detour,
happen.
it said 15 minutes. Now it's saying 45 minutes and now I'm stuck. I can't get off.
Yeah. We actually had that happen on this previous trip south of Birmingham. We got caught. And the usual complaint, you get to the end of it, and it's like, what caused this? I don't know.
everybody just takes
There's
off.
nothing there. All of a sudden, we're just moving. It's like there's no construction. There's no accidents. We're
Not
just
that-
moving. What
not that
happened?
You want to see an accident. Nobody wants an accident. But if I'm going to be stuck for an hour, there better be something
I
at
need
the
to
end of
know
this that's
what
like,
caused me that to sit
why
here.
did I have to sit here?
But again, overall, as far as talking technology, it's fantastic.
Yep. And the traveling, also on the traveling, trying to find a hotel. I remember traveling without tech. And if you had the cell phone,
No vacancy.
that's what you're looking for. Yeah. Or you got to drive around, look, you pull off, you just see, oh, there's 4 hotels ahead. You pull off, it's like, yeah, this is like a serial killer
Yeah,
hotel.
somebody
I'm not
died
staying
here.
here. We're going to keep driving. So it is nice. You can use booking.com or hotels.com and you put in, I want a 3-star hotel.
Yeah, what are the
coming
ratings
up.
on it? What-
Yeah, you can look at the Yelp reviews on it and put it in there and then you can hit one. That is super nice. because we've started doing that the last few years. I've only used that the last few years when we're traveling, but it is nice when you're driving.
Yeah, I use
and you hit
Hotels.com
because you
all
can
the
start
time.
calculating like, all right, I probably got about 3 more hours in me. So where's that going to put us? And they're like, all right, start looking. I'll tell my wife, start looking for hotels in this area, and she'll start looking. And then we just put one in, find it, boom, and then I go.
Yeah.
That is so much nicer than, like you said, you're just driving. Is there a vacancy? Is there not a vacancy? Is there a vacancy? Do I want to stay here? Do I want to just sleep in my car on a country road for a little bit? See if I can get my second wind and get moving?
Yeah, a few weeks ago, I booked a hotel through Hotels.com, and like 3 days later, I got a message from them saying, your reservation has been canceled. And then it goes, the hotel has, comma. And then it was like, it didn't finish the sentence to tell me
And
why.
you didn't cancel it.
I didn't
No,
cancel
that's
it.
what I'm saying.
No.
You didn't cancel
No,
it.
they
It's
canceled
just
it on me.
somebody
It's like,
canceled it.
All of a sudden, either the hotel burned down or I don't know what happened to it, but
Sorry, can't help you.
yeah.
You've never stayed at a hotel with comma before?
No.
Oh.
Not with comma.
You should try it sometime.
Yeah. Karma maybe, but not comma.
Oh.
Did you have anything else, Mike, with that? Okay. The next thing I was going to say is, and we've got this, music.
Yeah, I had
So
music.
now there's a part of me that I love the old style music. I like a record because I had records. That's what I started out with.
This
And
is
then
another one
tapes-
with caveats.
tapes. You know, they had their own issues. They would get caught, and then it would screw up the tape in that part, so you'd have a song where. Now in my mind, even to this day, when a song plays, if it slows down in my head, it
Yep.
slows down.
Don't stop believing.
Or if it gets eaten, got to pull it out and stick your pencil into the tape and kind of rewind it back in there. See if you can save it. It's like
Yep.
doing an operation. It's like, oh no!
And then when it gets that part, you're going, don't pull it in again.
So the music, having something in my hand where I can, or my wife is like, oh, I just had a thought of a song. Bring this up, boom, and they can bring it up. And you can do it within, whatever, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube Music, whatever you want. You can look it up, and I can play that music within,
Yeah.
15 seconds.
And just the pure portability of it. I
That
mean, albums were what
That
was
is
big
good.
when I first really got into music. And, close and play record player as a kid, maybe. That's about as portable
My
as you
brother
could
had a
get.
close and play.
But being able to just in your hand, like you said, have thousands and thousands of songs to be able to play at your beck and call. I mean, it's kind of nice.
Did you have something, Mike? I didn't want to.
No, I was saying it's nice if you have to pay for ad free. It's like, I hate the ads on Pandora, especially.
Oh,
But
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
one thing. It's like, we have the Spotify Premium, but I feel like that does a good job. And then you can download stuff and take it offline too. So if you lose service somewhere, thankfully you can still keep the music going in the background.
Yeah.
But
Mine's gotten weird. It's like we've traveled and we've been in some kind of like out of the way places these last few weeks. And my Pandora, and I've got the paid Pandora, so I've got no commercials. But if it loses cell signal, it'll say, we've noticed you've lost internet connection. We're going to play a selection from some of your favorite stations. And it seems like it always goes to the comedy station. It starts playing stand-up comedy, which I haven't listened to in quite a while in Pandora. And it just keeps, which I'm okay with. It wouldn't be Lori's first choice, but it's like, why does it keep going to the stand-up comedy? But I also think technology and the music recording has kind of made some music not so good because some of the tech, we've talked about tracking music and, I don't like a lot of that. I like some of the organic music and stuff like that. But so there's pros and cons. But as far as the pure just being able to pull up music and listen to it, it's great.
Another thing, my son has brought this up to me before when he would say something about some old song or something. I was like, yeah, I never listened. You didn't listen? I was like, no. I said, you don't understand. When I grew up, there wasn't this technology. We live in rural area in Illinois, Midwest. There's not a lot of big towns around here. So you were stuck with whatever radio stations happened to be around and what they played. And then if you could get to a music store, they were usually small and they kind of carried the main thing. There wasn't a lot of, I didn't just go out and just was able to buy a bunch of let's just obscure singer or songwriter or band here to listen to them. And even if they had that, the amount of money I had was limited. So it's like, look, I know I want this album.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm getting. I'm not going to take a shot on what this is. I don't know. It may be great, or it could be nasty crap. And that's like, they just blew my money on this album that I hate.
Yeah.
So I would go for what I know. It's not like now where you could just bring up a playlist and it's like, if it's garbage, like, oh, well, I don't didn't like them, or, oh, wow, that was good. Now, on the other side of that, if there was a song I did like, I was like, oh, I really like this song. I don't know anything else. You buy that album, you might find hidden gems on that album.
You don't hear those now because
now
you don't hear the B-sides.
Well, they don't even make an album half the
them.
time. They just put out just 2 or 3 songs. Here's the songs.
Yeah.
Instead of a full album where you'd get it and it's like, you get the album for one song and there's maybe 2 or 3 tracks. You're like, wow, I like those even better than the single they're playing on the radio.
Yeah.
So there's that you miss. But overall, I think it's made it better.
Yeah. From a technical perspective of being able to select, because I can find, since I know a lot of the groups I liked and stuff, or even more current groups, if I want to hear other tracks that they've put out, I can find them.
I'll be honest, I don't listen to a lot of current music.
Yeah.
I will listen to a little. Most of mine is all,
Yeah. I try to find a little more obscure current, I'm not a huge fan of current pop. I mean, I like to try to find, I don't know.
My wife's more that way.
Yeah.
She likes more current pop. I will
If they
find
keep
something older.
infusing Elton John songs
everything.
into pop music,
It's into
now
everything.
it drives me up the wall. So that's I'm sorry. I'm getting off on a tangent
right.
about music, and it's not really what it's about.
right.
But
Mike, did you have anything else to add?
One of the other technology things that I'm going to mention, kind of related to music, is Bluetooth. You gotta love Bluetooth.
yeah, Bluetooth's great.
And I say with music specifically too because of headphones. It's like now everybody has the in-ear wireless headphones, and I have some myself, and they're not top of the line by any means. But I would take those over the clunky, let me plug my headphones in my phone, or even stuff like that. That would drive me nuts.
Yeah, Bluetooth's very nice for that.
But even beyond that, Bluetooth to connect displays or connect wirelessly to fill in the blank in the car. You can have your infotainment, your phone all set up Bluetooth there. So I don't know. That's another thing too that I was just going to kind of tie into the music aspect.
Yeah, the connectivity to make your car a absolutely phenomenal entertainment system is. My first car had an AM radio, and that's it. AM. There was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've had vehicles with no radio.
I have
in
two.
them.
I have two, and that's awful.
Throw a boom box on the
first
seat.
car was a 2003 Honda Civic, and it's like I love that car, but it's like the best it had in it was like a CD player, and I know it's like CDs, but I remember burning CDs, and some of them would work like half the time, and wouldn't always work.
They kind of skip every once in a while.
And it was like it was too old for the aux jack. It's like I didn't even have that, so it was like I was just stuck with CDs.
Yeah, I had a car that I had the boom box, and I had removable speakers on my boom box, so we would take the speakers off and set them up into the back dash and put the radio on, and it would take like 87D batteries. That would last like maybe 45 minutes if you weren't playing a tape. If you played a tape, that's going to cut your power down at about half. So,
did you ever have the fake cassette tape that you would put in and connect your iPod to it? You would it had like you said,
seen them.
My
aux.
son did.
Yeah,
my
so
son
you can
had
plug
one for
your
the CD, which I didn't understand how that worked.
I don't know how CD
How
would
would that
work.
work?
I don't know. He plugged it in there, and it would.
See, my car was too new for the cassette stuff, so I
we
didn't have
had
that.
the
But it was
cassette.
too old for the aux. It was like I was in no man's land there for a little bit, but I had seen those.
Yeah. I had those. I've had those. I've had ones where you just plug a little thing into the cigarette lighter or aux slot in the car.
I say cigarette lighter still, but I probably need to say auxiliary power because some people are going to be like, "What?
Yeah,
a cigarette lighter."
and then you can tune your radio into the same station.
My son had one of those too.
Yeah.
That was much more.
I still got one in our car that's got the Bluetooth is broken in it, so I use this little thing, and then I can connect my phone via Bluetooth to it, and then it goes over a radio station.
You know what? I don't think my son's CD player that wasn't. It didn't connect the phone. What it was you would snap that in there, and it was like a holder that you'd stick the phone on, and then you could plug it into the jack. That's what it was.
Okay.
Because I was trying to think, how would that work?
Yeah, that makes sense.
He set it in there, and it was kind of like
that makes sense.
It had like a plate on the front that had a holder for the phone or something.
Yeah,
so, I don't know. The next thing I think that it has made overall better. There are some, like you said, caveats, but shopping, trying to buy something. In the past, you were just like, well, I'm gonna have to go to the store and see if they got it. And then if that store doesn't have it, I'll have to go to another store and see if they got it. Where now you can just start looking it up. Boom, I can look it up. I can
Amazon,
go to Walmart,
boom.
look it up. Or I can go to or if you want it now, you can even go there and select the store and say, is it in stock or not? Maybe it's in stock. Maybe
you might need a special order, but
you
yes.
might. But in theory, they're able to look that up and find that. Or, like you said, Amazon, you got Prime, you can get next day delivery a lot of times for free. And you just go, boom.
Yep.
Or trying to find a part. Like I've had my dryer broke a couple different times, or your oven, and you're like, oh man, you put the serial number in, it's like Kenmore or whatever it is. Here's the part. You go to Amazon, you put the part number in, you got it. Where in the past you'd be like, I don't know, how do I get a part for this? There's some places that sell parts, but you have to be a contractor there or whatever. Have a tax exempt number to go in. It's like they don't sell to just regular people off the street. So I can't get a part for that.
Can I tag onto that one with another
ahead.
technology?
Yeah.
YouTube. Being able to look up how to fix something is incredible. I used the daylights out of that.
I had that down.
Because we had to get a user's guide or a manual or
a lot of you won't know what this is. Or I went to the library and got a Chilton's.
Yep. I've done it.
Chiltons, Chilton's guide to whatever car and model you want. You have to go find them all. I need one for a Chevy Impala, 1988. And then it would tell you, it was a gigantic book that went through all of the different things that you could change on your
Now they're all
Chevy.
digitized. You can download PDFs of them.
Yeah.
Control F.
But it used to be a gigantic, heavy book. You get it. It's like, well, here we go.
YouTube has saved my life on a number of different things.
And not just for car. I mean, everything. All kinds of stuff.
Home repairs, you name it. I mean.
Yeah, YouTube is fantastic for that.
Yeah, YouTube is excellent.
On the downside, sometimes I looked at like, oh, how do I do this? And then I'll see the other video selected, and pretty soon I'm rabbit hole, and I've spent half the day. It's like, I don't have time to do my project now. I went down the rabbit hole and all
Why
these
am
other
I watching cat videos?
Yeah. The caveat I'll throw into that is you look up one thing on YouTube with the search word, and then you're inundated with ads.
Oh, yeah.
For the next month of your life. Oh, I think you might want a new drying machine. It looks like you have searched some parts.
Oh, would you like to see some hot dogs in unusual places? Why, yes, I would.
You can choose to show more or less sometimes, and for the sake of entertainment, you may hit show more occasionally.
Yep.
So yeah, I didn't mean to take over the
no, that's fine.
shopping,
And then the other thing I have was finding something or someone, a service. And what made me think of this, kind of what spurred this whole conversation, is I was watching an old TV show. If you've never watched it, look it up. It's for free on a bunch of different streaming services. It's called Green Acres. It's funny.
Oh,
it's an old
best.
show, but it's funny. So this was probably 1968 when I was watching this episode. And the main character had an old antique watch that was broke, and he was trying to find how to fix it. And there was a certain place in New York City that he had it fixed, and they don't live there. They live in the country now in some other town, some other state.
Yeah.
So he calls this woman that had been his secretary and was asking her, can you remember the name of this place? And she's like, it ended with something brothers and no, something. And the whole episode was her trying to remember all that. She never did. But I thought, wow, this whole episode wouldn't even be an episode now because they would just look up.
They Google.
Here, who fixes this watch? And it would just fix it. I thought how much easier and better it has gotten with that technology, being able to look that up instead of having to go or getting a phone book or trying to find. I knew people that had phone books for you can go get you a phone book for other cities. Mm-hmm. The libraries used to have some phone books.
Some of them were super thick.
Yeah.
Chicago. It's like,
well, I remember
holy cow.
I remember too when you would go and see some of these bodybuilder guys that would do different stunts. One of them was ripping a phone book in half.
Yeah.
Now they'd be like, what?
Well, I remember even just the Tri-County, the Peoria phone book was a thick, because you had the yellow pages that had all the businesses, and then the white. It's amazing that everybody had their name in a book with their phone number
and then
next
pink
to it.
was government, wasn't it? Pink, kind of a reddish or pink?
Yeah, maybe red or blue or something, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that is way better. So even though I'm still going to say overall, I feel like a lot of times technology is a net negative. I still think there's so many good things that come from it.
There's just things we miss.
Yeah,
being older that we did.
No, the bad thing I think is that people can tend to rely on it too much, and then when it goes down or something like you lose the signal and you don't have maps, they're done. They don't know how to read a map or what to do. Okay, well, this didn't happen. How can I get myself out of this situation? And even me, I start relying on my phone a lot where I lose some of those skills that I used to have.
Yeah.
I don't know. Mike, anything else or any other technology? That was kind of the last one I had.
Yeah, I got a couple things.
So you could talk about streaming in kind of the same sense that we talked about with music.
Yeah. Streaming video and things like that.
Yeah. Finding a show, not having to pay for a huge cable package just to, just get kind of pick and choose what you want to watch.
Yeah.
And not
Instead,
to mention,
you're paying more for 87 different little streaming services.
I say, but then at that point, it's up to you if you want them or not.
This is all true.
You could cancel ones you don't want.
Yeah. That being said, everything literally is a streaming service now. But then kind of on the same side of that, it's like you used to go from giant TVs that
that weighed a ton.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
You'd have to whack them to get the channel to come in. Now you've got.
We had one of those when I was a kid.
Well, we only had 3 channels when I was young.
Yeah. And now you've got the giant flat screens and video games
for like $350, and you can get a 55-inch LCD screen, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So there's some of that stuff too that I had thought about earlier, but.
Yeah. Well, back to cars. Cars just in and of themselves are amazing compared. 70s cars were pieces of junk.
They were.
Now, I liked some of them because that's from the era I was from, the 60s and 70s. There were some cool cars, but they still were not good quality compared to what we've got now. I mean, the technology that is built into a car now is incredible. I mean, light comes on. Oh, you got a low tire. Oh.
There's chips and sensors. And
everything.
The downside is when you have to come to pay to replace them. And
there's a cost that goes with it.
Yeah.
But
we had to replace a sensor during the chip shortage in 21 or whatever that was during COVID. And oh my goodness, that was a pain.
Yeah. They wanted arms and legs for those at that point.
Another thing back then too, if you were going to go on a trip and you had a car that had 100,000 miles, there's no way you're taking a car with 100,000 miles on a long trip.
No.
And now I told my wife we got a
well,
Buick.
my parents would, but
my parents did too, but most you would not want to. And there were times when we were on vacation, car broke down, and Dad had to find a place. He fixed the car on vacation.
Yep.
Not happy. But I said our Buick's got like 140,000 miles. I said I'd get in it and drive it down to the coast with probably not much thought. I wouldn't. I mean, it still drives great. And
I've got that 2010 Taurus still. I would take it to Florida if I needed to. I mean, it runs great. But so cars, and then one other one I had was medicine. There's some advantage. Now I know we complain about doctors and we complain about hospitals, but if you think about what medicine was like back from when we, were that. I know my dad had open heart surgery in 1970, And the technology, I had open heart surgery in 2014, from a birth defect, had heart surgery. And I remember from being young when my dad had his compared to the surgery I had and how much more efficient they were with everything, diagnosing, going in, fixing. It's amazing. It's just incredible.
My grandpa had a pacemaker put in 2019.
Did he?
He was awake for the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing.
Talking to him, and
yep.
he's like, I've never smelled the smell of my own burning flesh before, but he's like, I can remember that smell. Even just to be awake as somebody's putting a piece of electronics in your heart. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, even just the amount of pain that you may suffer for a procedure that, they've learned how to isolate, things that numb areas and things like that you don't have to suffer quite as much. Most things on the body are painful when you have to have something done, but a lot of things they can do with far less pain than they used to. So I don't know. I'm overall pro medicine and the advances.
Oh yeah, it's much better now.
One of the caveats I would throw in there is, can we please stop engineering things in labs? Can we please stop doing that?
Yeah,
and stop trying to bring back woolly mammoths or whatever the heck it is we're working on now. Can we please stop?
Saber-tooth tigers.
Continue working on fixing things that are just break.
Yes.
AI robotics of all kinds that are probably going to destroy us all.
Yes, we don't need the fire throwing robot dogs. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like we can stop here.
Or fire throwing flying drones, which I've seen.
The Boston Dynamics chasing us down. We can stop now. With that. That's one of the things.
I mean, robot surgery is amazing, but
is.
having things chasing you around and trying to kill you, not good.
No.
So, I think that's really about all I had. It made me think about what we had. Mike's a little younger, but what we had and what our parents would have said. Oh, boy, this technology, a toaster, I can put my bread in here and it heats it up and shoots it out the top.
Or microwave, and just turn on the radio and you can pick up a station anywhere in the area.
Yeah. So it's funny how just generationally, things change, and each generation harkens
I feel
back
like
to,
the change is happening
better.
exponentially faster.
Oh yeah.
The last, say, 20 years, the last 20 years.
Overall, yes.
That it would change, but it would take a while. It would take it would get quicker and quicker and I realize technology builds on itself. So
yeah.
I had one more technology thing, if anybody else.
Yeah, go ahead.
The biggest, I'm even going to say the biggest technology change by far for me has been social media. The invention of social media, where you're always plugged into what's happening, what everybody else is doing, where everybody else is at. To have all of that, and I'm not saying I'm not going to say it's good or bad one way or the other. I have separate feelings on that.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that.
But the invention of like Facebook, now you used to message, but now like with Facebook, you've got TikTok, you've got video calls that you can do on these apps.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, it's insane how connected, like growing up as a kid, I remember loading up like broadband and barely having enough internet to search a few things on the web.
Yeah.
And now with your phone in your pocket, you can, if I wanted to message anybody in the world, I can do it in a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
And get a response back just as quick.
It is amazing.
And
like you said, I have mixed feelings about portions of it, but it's the technology is amazing.
Yeah. Well, I was just say that to me has probably had the biggest impact on the world.
I would agree.
Of all the technology things we've talked about, social media has probably had.
Well, because they use it for business, they use it for news, people will use it for all that stuff.
People's lives literally revolve around social media now.
Yeah.
Like this podcast. People's lives are revolving around it.
Yes, they are.
We're not quite at the level.
As we push it out there.
Hang on every word.
We're not quite at Walmart Radio's level, but
not quite.
We're right there. We're knocking on the door.
We are knocking. All right. Was that the last one then?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I mean, I probably could think of more, but we're going to run long.
Well, we'll leave that at part 2 then. To be continued.
Yeah.
This is not the definitive list yet. We're putting that together.
Not even close.
No. All right. Well, I found some some crazy laws, and I was going to tell you. I saw a news story that made me think of this because this guy got arrested and charged with something, but I can't find that article now. So I'll teaser. I'll try to bring it up maybe in next week or a week after that. I'll find it. But what happened to him was like, that's ridiculous. So I brought up, I found some other crazy laws here. So I've got, 10 or so. We'll go through them, and I'll ask you guys a few questions, see if you can figure out what these are. So we're going to go to Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Yep. And there's an ordinance there that something is illegal unless you pay a special licensing fee for the privilege of wearing this in public. You can't wear it in public unless you pay. You have to buy a special license to wear this.
Bow tie.
Good guess.
A bowler hat.
No. A goatee. Goatees, these a lot of times these will be old ordinances that are just still on the book, but yeah, it says that was an old ordinance and goatees are illegal unless
Can you have a
first
full
pay.
beard?
It just says goatees, so you have to pay a special license fee for the privilege of wearing a goatee in public.
Do they stamp you or something? Here's your goatee stamp.
Maybe.
It's a card. You carry it around in your wallet.
In Illinois, it's illegal for anyone to give this to dog, cats, or other domesticated animals kept as pets.
Table scraps.
Good guess.
I'm in trouble if that's the case. I'm going to say roadkill.
It is illegal for anyone to give lighted cigars to dogs, cats, or other domesticated. I guess unlit cigars, chewing tobacco. What about pipes? It doesn't say that, but lighted cigars.
You have to
cigarettes.
have some class.
Sometimes sometimes Rover wants to go to flavor country. So he needs a Marlboro. You need to light up a heater sometimes and just kick back and relax. After you've
gone on a walk and barked at squirrels all day.
Or after, some of the times when some of the stuff we've yelled at the dogs we talked about at the beginning, you kick back with a cigarette and relax to yourself.
Outside, not in the house.
Yes, not in the house. All right. In Hawaii, this is not allowed to be placed in one's ear. You can't place this in one's ears. It's some object it's illegal.
How about a luau?
A tiki statue or whatever they call those.
Coins are not allowed to be placed in somebody's ears. I don't know why. I don't know how magicians work over there because they're pulling coins constantly out of people's ears. So maybe that's why that's illegal.
From our last episode,
maybe somebody did
like,
how'd you do that? It's magic. That's
ear,
illegal. Yeah. From our last episode, if I had the giant ear,
could put all kinds of stuff in there.
Giant coin you would have to keep out of there.
But I think I meant to say lei, not a luau. That's sorry. I just
you put the whole luau.
I wanted to.
Well, if we had the giant ear, you might be able to get the luau in there.
Yeah. You can hang the lei on your ear.
Yeah, I don't know that I want those guys with the fire spinning around and the girls shaking the hula skirts all in my ear. That'd be crowded.
And the pig roast going on in there.
In Delaware, it is illegal to do this on a dare.
On a what?
On a dare. I dare you. You cannot do this on a dare.
Leap off of a bridge.
I was going to say jump off a cliff.
Is that your?
Yeah.
Yep. In Delaware, it's illegal to get married on a dare.
Oh,
You cannot get married on a dare.
I dare you to get married.
In Kentucky,
I double dog dare you.
In Kentucky, every citizen is required to do this once a year.
I would say this is gonna be a weird one.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's
a
gonna
weird
be a
one.
really weird one. I'm gonna
Are
say
you saying that because it's in Kentucky?
no. I just if you're making people do it once a year, it's got to
That
be
means
odd.
they're bucking it. They don't want to do it
Yeah.
once a year.
I'm gonna say they've got to. Shoot, I don't even know. They got to clip their toenails at least once a year.
I was gonna say in the same vein, bathe.
In Kentucky, every citizen is required to take a shower once a year.
Ooh.
Okay. Maine.
Whether you need it or not.
That's right. In Maine, it's It's unlawful to tickle a woman's blank
Fancy.
in Portland, Maine. In Portland, Maine, you cannot tickle a woman this way. Or this spot or something.
I'm going to go with the thing everybody does, armpit.
How about their chin?
It's unlawful to tickle a woman's chin
Ooh.
with a
feather?
feather duster in Portland. Now, in Massachusetts, you're not allowed to have this in the backseat of your car.
Sex.
Well, maybe that too.
How about a tiger?
You've got the right vein. In Massachusetts, no gorilla is allowed in the backseat of any car.
You know that somebody, at least one person, had a gorilla
Hauled it
in their
around.
car. Yes.
Come on, Clyde.
In West Virginia, in Alderson, West Virginia, you may not walk this even on a leash. So even if you put it on a leash, you can't walk it.
A monkey.
I don't know if they get up there, but I'll say crocodile.
In Alderson, West Virginia, one may not walk a lion, a tiger, or leopard, even on a leash. So something was happening that they had all of these, were just running around crazy. I don't know.
I had my tiger answer one
ahead, yeah.
In Utah, this always has the right of way on all highways. So in Utah, this has the right of way on all highways.
Go ahead. If you.
I'm saying elk.
Ooh. I was thinking more old school wagon.
Birds have the right of way on all highways. How many walking birds do they have in Utah?
I don't know.
They fly? We don't know. None of our birds fly. They're all just walking around.
Are there roadrunners out there? Are they?
All of them? I mean, birds. It
would
doesn't
have
say
the right of
roadrunners.
way?
It says birds.
Especially-
we have a lot of birds. Maybe they're driving. I don't know what they're doing.
They fly over you, got to slam on the brakes.
Yeah,
Thumbs
whoa.
up.
Hang on, he might land.
Yeah.
He might land. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of a way to say this one. In Texas, it's illegal to do this to anyone but your own. It's really it's odd. It's
Kiss your mother.
you can't kiss Mike's mother or my mother,
Right.
But yours you can kiss.
You can kiss. On the cheek.
That would make as much sense as what the real law is. Go ahead.
I don't even know where to go with this one. You can't. I don't know. I have no idea.
In Texas, it is illegal to milk another person's cow. You can only milk your own. And the last one, we're going to Rhode Island. It's considered an offense to throw this on a trolley. Now, I don't know. They don't say if like you're on a trolley and you're throwing it or to run up and throw it on a trolley. I don't know. So I don't know how they mean it.
To throw it on a trolley.
It's an offense to do it. So don't.
An umbrella.
You better not do it when
An umbrella.
better not.
Can't throw the.
How about candy?
In Rhode Island, it is considered an offense to throw pickle juice on a trolley. No pickle juice throwing on that trolley at all.
Sounds good to me.
There you go. There you go. Those some
Very
strange
weird.
laws. All right. Well, hey, that will wrap up this show. We're so thankful that you tuned in. And, you know, we kind of said that we're not thrilled with social media. That being said, make sure to check out all of our social media. Instagram, Facebook,
Yes, please.
X, or what was formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, Rumble. We're out there on everything. We're not on TikTok. But
And if you would check it out, maybe we would be happier with social media.
We would be. Check it out. And slide into our DMs, as the kids say. I don't know. Is that bad? That doesn't mean something bad, right, Mike?
No.
We always do this. We say something and Mike looks at us. We're like, "What? Was that bad?"
Cringes.
Just
he's like giving us the cut. No, don't say
just
that.
be ready for whatever messages you
Yeah,
get.
I'm not simping for him to do it. Did I use that right?
No cap.
No cap. All right. So yeah, check out all of our social media feeds. Make sure you're tuning in to our show in 7 days. We put a new one out every Monday. We appreciate you listening, and we hope you have a great week. See ya.
Later.
Peace.
Well, that wraps up another episode. Thanks for listening. Please be sure to subscribe, and you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.